really. So give me a sec. I'm just getting this once again, getting the TikTok audience like streamed in because I come to YouTube first, right? Like always. But what I'm gonna do today is give me one sec. I'm just this is gonna be well worth the setup here, guys. Trust me on this. So today, I've been messing with the Wheel of Time as a series, right? And deservedly so. It's really a top-notch series. At least it seems like to me, right? This is a really, really top-notch series. All right, Wheel of Time. There's so much in the setup here. So I really wanted to understand the series better. I wanted to get a better grasp on the series. Obviously, I do breakdowns on various shows, and this is one of them. This is one of the ones that I've been talking about, right? And deep enough that I went into the books as well, just because I really wanted to understand like the entire lore, like the ins and outs of what the Wheel of Time is actually all about, like who all the characters are. And if you're like me, you're like, man, this looks like a great show, and it kind of is. But the thing about it is, the show moves really fast. Like it doesn't seem like it, but this show is covering a ton of ground, like a ridiculous amount of ground. And that means there's a ridiculous amount of characters that we all have to mentally keep track of. And trying to understand who is from where and what they're doing and why are they over here tripping is one of the hardest things to keep track of in this series. So I thought I would make myself like a small study session just to kind of get the understanding of it on a deeper level. And heck, if you guys want to roll along with me, I'm more than happy for you guys to jump into. So this is going to be the session of sessions, right? And we're going to get it started off in this fashion. And the first thing I'm going to do is I got some actual study aids for us, right? So we didn't come into this raw. I'm not that kind of, like, I wouldn't have been that type of instructor, right? I wouldn't have been that teacher, right? Like, we're going to come in here and it's not going to be fun. No, we're going to have a lab about this, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be great for everybody to jump in. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started right now, and which starts off with understanding some of the terms in cosmology. So I'm just going to go ahead and start playing this thing. I'm going to jump in when it matters, and we're going to take a listen in depth and maybe even pull up some images and things like that. So let's kind of get it started here.
The Wheel of Time. Cosmology and the Shape of Reality. The Wheel of Time. A cosmic mechanism that spins the pattern and governs reality.
So right off the bat, we get the importance of the Wheel of Time itself, just as a concept, like what these things actually mean. So this is something good to kind of lock away in understanding.
The pattern. A metaphysical structure that determines events and causality. The ages. Cyclical eras that repeat endlessly as the wheel turns.
So that's important because they reference the ages all the time. Like the reference of when the ages end. So the old, the original, the OG dragon was from a different age. And now we're rolling to this and his reincarnation.
The turning of the wheel. The process that ends one age and begins another.
They never really, go deep into, like they talk about the turning of the wheel, but that's just basically whatever happens. Like whatever. If something bad happened to you, yeah, that was just a turning of the wheel. So no one's ever articulated outside of Morin, but that's pretty much like how I understand the turning of the wheel. That, yeah, it's whatever. It's just going to be what it's going to be.
Rebirth. A metaphysical process in which souls are spun out again across ages. The soul. An eternal essence that retains identity across rebirths.
So obviously we see that like right off the bat. That's the crux of it. Right there is that the dragon, he's back now, right? After being killed or whatever process he went through. Now the dragon's 100% back. So that's a huge thing that's going on there. So the rebirth, the concept of a soul is heavy in this lore. Like they don't run from that at all. That's something that we can count on. Is that the soul is essentially your eternal essence. This is you at the core. So when you die and then the next age comes around, you can be reborn Just like we're looking at the dragon. The crux of the series is the dragon coming back, right?
Heroes of the Horn. Bound souls reborn or summoned when needed. Book canon. Balance.
You know what? Okay. Those soldiers of the horn, like I've seen it, right? I saw it. And it was quite ill. Like I saw a guy, I can't remember the guy's name, which is why we're here right now, who had the eye patch, and we saw him get killed by some forces who I don't know who those guys either. Another reason why we're here. But then he pops up later, and I'm like, damn, how did this dude come back? Well, he's, one of these, soldiers of the horn, warriors of the horn, and that's what they do. They come back. And he knew it, and I guess that's why he upped himself. But again, there's a lot of little, because you never know. With this show, this guy reappearing again could have just been they went back in time, or went in the future in time. You don't know. That's the thing why it's so important to kind of continue to track who everybody is. So let's keep it rolling here.
A core principle in which order is maintained through opposing forces. The Dark One. An external cosmic entity that seeks to break the wheel.
Now that's the most succinct explanation of the Dark One that I've had so far. That he wants to break the wheel. No one else has said that as sharp as that. Let's see if we can get a visual on like the Dark One, because we see him manifested in some forms, and you see this is a cold-blooded looking dude, like, man. And I know he's got some minions, like, so these are all the ones that are kind of down working for the Dark One. So understanding the Dark One is essential. Still doesn't explain why he wants to break the wheel, which would matter for a lot of us, right? Like, what's your motivation in breaking the wheel? Just want to ain't good enough for me. But I digress. Let's keep it rolling here.
The sealing of the Dark One. A historical act that temporarily contained the Dark One.
Okay, now this is also the moment, if I'm correct, where everything also went wrong in terms of this universe, right? He was sealed up by the dragon, which is what the dragon's job was, and somehow the seal didn't go right. And I think there's a term for that that's going to come up as well. Like the Borg or something like that is this what the seal is called. But this is the breach, and this is why we're dealing with this nonsense right now. Or maybe it would have been eternal. If it's cyclical, it's very possible that we would have just been dealing, or they would have just been dealing with the same scenario all over again. Anyway.
The Dragon. A reborn champion who faces the Dark One in each age.
Yeah.
The Dragon Reborn. The current incarnation.
So obviously, of course, if you're in the series right now, this is Rand Althor, and we know that he is the reborn dragon. So we can see how this is tracking already.
Of the Dragon, central to the fate of the age.
Yeah.
The necessity of the dragon. A cosmic law in which destruction and salvation are intertwined.
When I heard this, I automatically thought about, some mythologies like Shiva, where it's destruction, it's necessary for the new cycle to begin. So I'm not sure if that's quite how they have the dragon position, but he says it, right? He's supposed to save them and then destroy them, or destroy them and then save them. Whatever it is, destruction and getting saved are intricately tied amongst each other, right? So, that's kind of the real part of it there.
Power systems and metaphysics. The One Power. An energy source that drives all channeling. The true source. The origin from which the One Power is drawn.
These are important things to know. That I don't know if they talked about the source very much. I mean, we hear about the One Power all the time. I don't know if we hear that much about, the source and what the source actually means and where it comes from. I don't know if they reference it a lot. Clearly very important in the grand scheme of things.
Channeling. The ability to draw and shape the One Power. Sidin. The male half of the One Power, tainted and corrupting.
That's kind of the weird part of it is, I always kind of struggle with the gender part, but obviously they're saying these two are in balance. The male part gets corrupted by the Dark One, so that's why all the guys, were tripping, and it's forbidden, essentially for them to even be channelers.
Sidar. The female half of the One Power, untainted and controlled through surrender. Gendered access. A rule in which individuals can access only one half of the One Power. The taint. A corrupting influence affecting Sidin and male channelers.
So we can tell, obviously, that this is what the corruption is. And what happens is that the males who wield it, especially the more powerful you are, the more power you're using, that's when you get driven corrupt or insane, right? And you end up killing people close to you. So that's where the Dark One really effed up the system for everybody. And I don't know if that can ever be undone. Doesn't look like it though.
Madness. Psychological decay resulting from prolonged exposure to the taint.
Yeah.
Burning out. A physical consequence involving the loss of channeling ability. Book canon. Terangrial. Magical objects designed to perform specific functions.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these magical items and relics like popping up throughout the series. I think Matt's got a knife that's kind of infected. Like, it's bad infection. And that kind of surfaces where if you're in the series, that's already going down.
Angreal. Power amplifiers that increase channeling capacity. Book canon. Sarangreal. Major amplifiers that greatly increase channeling power. Book canon. The Three Oaths. Binding laws that restrict AES Sedai behavior. The Oath Rod. A terangrial used to make oaths unbreakable. Book canon. The Warder Bond. A magical bond linking an AES Sedai and a warder.
Oh, okay. Now that's going to matter when we start talking about Morian and Land, right? Because I didn't understand that. And that definitely was a key for me getting that, grasping that concept.
Tarviran. Pattern focal points that warp probability around themselves. Weaving. A method involving the combination of flows of the one power. Threads. A metaphor representing individual lives within the pattern. Organizations and factions. The AES Sedai. An order of women who can channel the one power.
Okay, so I think, this is one part that I think it's easy to have a good grip on, right? Because, we see them. Morian is like obviously a representative. We've been to their tower. This is kind of the dominant force that we see right now. So we get them, grasp that concept, but it's good to know because these are central. This is a power faction that's absolutely central.
The White Tower. The central authority and training institution of the AES.
We spent a lot of time at the White Tower. Right, and this is where it all goes down. You can see the White Tower. Right, so this is the representation that we're working with on the White Tower.
Sedai. The Three Oaths. Binding oaths sworn by AES Sedai to limit the use of power. The Oath Rod. A terangrial used to enforce the Three Oaths. Book canon. The Blue Odger. An AES Sedai faction focused on causes, justice, and political manipulation. The Red Odger. An AES Sedai faction dedicated to hunting and controlling male channelers. The Green Odger. An AES Sedai.
So these are all the different factions. See the red. And we know, and each of them kind of have their own. Like the Reds, man, to me, the Reds are definitively a problem. Like, definitively a problem. Obviously, Morin is part of the blue, so we're more comfortable with the blue. But these guys do go at it like Crips and Bloods. It's hardcore. This lady right here, this very square jaw lady right here, she's a big problem too. And I'm going to, like I said, man, I've been watching the series. And, oh, this is Leandra. Okay, yeah, this is Leandra. And, so you're seeing these two powerful factions go head up against each other. And it's no joke between these two. This lady's no joke, man.
Faction oriented toward battle and preparedness for the last battle. The Yellow Odger. An AES Sedai faction focused on healing and restoration. The Brown Odger. An AES Sedai faction dedicated to knowledge, history, and research. The Grey Odger. An AES Sedai faction specializing in diplomacy and negotiation. The White Odger. An AES Sedai faction devoted to logic and emotional detachment. The Black Odger. A secret faction of AES Sedai serving the Dark One. Hidden allegiance. Okay. Members of the Black Odger conceal their true loyalties within the tower.
Wow.
Infiltration.
Wow.
The Black Odger undermines tower authority from women. Black Odger Oaths. Secret oaths sworn to the Dark One that override the 3 oaths. Book canon. The children of the...
Wow, I mean, these black Aja, that's deep right there. I mean, I knew there were people that were operating for him. I just wasn't picking up on that. And, like, that was an important catch right now from my understanding of the series. I'm hoping this is some stuff that's going to be beneficial for you guys as well. I'm just uncovering the series, man. Like I said, I'm going through not only the series, but also doing the book at the same time. And it's a lot to kind of take in because there's so, like, you see how many different factions are even within this, right? That's kind of the strength of the series. But it's also like, man, this is a lot of work to get all these characters and be up to speed on everybody.
Light. A militant religious order opposing channelers. White cloaks. The common name for members of the Children of the Light.
Right, yeah, these white cloaks, man. Like, these guys are definitively, if I'm remembering these guys right, these guys are a problem, man. No, come on, man. White cloaks, give me that. Yeah, these guys, man, I'm telling you right now, especially this dude right here, man. Especially this dude right here, man. Like, I'm telling you, these white cloaks, these are some sinister dudes right here, man. And they are completely unchecked. Like, these dudes are 100% problematic. Like, when we start talking about these dudes, man, like, when you see them and they roll up, you gotta submit. Like, they got the power. Man, these guys are like the ICE agents of this time, man. Like, they can jack anybody. You can get a pat down. You can get, who knows, you might get arrested, detained. They were going to kill a parent, right? I mean, these guys were no joke. They had Edwin and parent, like, totally locked up, man. So when you see the white cloaks in the series, man, this is always a game changer because they do hold a lot of power. They have a lot of influence. And, you know, just seems like no check to them, man. And there's no chill within anything. If you, any of these guys, I haven't seen them kind of chill out. And this guy always really pushes it.
Ideology. A belief that channeling itself is inherently evil.
That would explain a lot. Like, that they're coming at it from that standpoint makes a whole lot of sense. And I think I kind of picked that up, but I hadn't really just fully expressed it. But now I can really understand, based on their actions, that, you know, this is very telling for the story.
Authority structure. Leadership under a Lord Captain Commander. The Shawn-Chan. An imperial civilization from across the ocean. The Shawn-Chan Empire. An expansionist empire enforcing rigid hierarchy. Domain. Channelers enslaved and controlled by the Shawn-Chan. Suldam. Non-channelers trained to control domain. Cultural doctrine. A belief that channelers must be leashed.
Wow.
The Ale. A desert-dwelling warrior culture of...
Let's look up the AL. Oh, yeah. Now, this group is really, like, this is some real flavor on this series, man. I have to say that I really enjoy watching these characters here get down. I mean, they bring a lot of flavor to this series. This was not mere happenstance that it goes down this way. So, yeah, this is some very cool stuff within the series. And like I said, so many factions just kind of forget, you know, in your everyday rundown. But, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and this is kind of some of the layers of the series.
The Ale Waste. Ale clans. Tribal divisions within Ale society. Jiito. A cultural code based on honor and obligation. Wise Ones. Female leaders and channelers among the Ale. Clan chiefs. Political and military leaders of Ale clans. The Shadow. A collective term for forces serving the Dark.
Man, and this is as real as it gets, man. The Shadow. Yeah, and this is his squad. It doesn't have a good representation of it, but we'll come gotta get in depth.
Dark Friends. Individuals secretly sworn to the Shadow. The Forsaken. Ancient channelers aligned with the Dark One. Book canon. Shadow hierarchy. Power structured through fear, reward, and survival. Warders. Elite warriors bonded to AES Sedai. The Bond. A magical connection between AES Sedai and Warders. The nations of the Westlands.
Yes.
Independent kingdoms with shifting alliances. The borderlands. Nations defending against the blight. Character registry. Rand al-Thor. The Dragon Reborn. Independent. Two Rivers. Egwene Ulvir. Channeler. Aes Sedai. Two Rivers. Nynaeve Almira. Channeler and Healer. Aes Sedai. Two Rivers.
Now, I mean, these are kind of your core. When you're talking about Randall, you can see here Egwene, right, and Nivea. Like this is kind of the heart of the crew. I mean, we'll get to the rest of them here, but these are three very important, and they all have a strong play into the future.
Cawthon. Tarviran. Independent. Two Rivers. Perrin Ibarra. Tarviran.
Perrin also is another one of that. Perrin and Matt. I'm not going to dismiss Matt out, but obviously to me, he's been more problematic than anything else, and that's just kind of a good representation of Perrin right there, who this character is. Like, you kind of got the essential crew, right? With that group there.
Independent. Two Rivers. Moiraine Damodred. Aes Sedai of the Blue Odger. White Tower. Cairhien. Suan Sanche. A Merlin Seat. White Tower. Tear. Alana Mosvani. Aes Sedai of the Green Odger. White Tower. Arafel. Liandrin Girali.
Yeah, Liandrin, we just talked about Liandrin just a second ago. Let's go back. Someone else I want to catch.
Viren. Independent. Two Rivers. Moiraine
Now, Moiraine, obviously, this has been our main character, right? She's the one you're going to be most familiar with, and if you kind of watch her, you get the bulk of the series really flows through her, right? And obviously, she's easy to recognize, and that's how they position her, right? So she's really the focal point early in the story. At least for the series, it doesn't seem as much dependent on her in the book.
Damodred. Aes Sedai of the Blue Odger. White Tower. Cairhien. Suan Sanche.
Like Suan, this is also another super important character. I mean, it's just riddled with characters that you just have to know all the characters, man. You have to know all the characters, right? It's like, this one's well worth it. As a character, like, they really kind of play this character up with her power. It's a great actress. So, this is canon right here. This is important because this is kind of the seat of power at this point, early on in the story.
A Merlin Seat. White Tower. Tear. Alana Mosvani. Aes Sedai of the Green Odger. White Tower. Arafel. Liandrin Girali. Aes Sedai of the Red Odger. White Tower. Tarabon. Leen Sharif. Keeper of the Chronicles. White Tower. Orod Doman. Lan Mandragoran. Ward.
Now, Lan, this is the warder, and, he's the one who's always rolling with Morion and the rest of the crew, right? And he's bound to her, and we see it, right? He's bound to be her, but not like in the way where we get to hook up every night. It's not that. So it's a different kind of bond that he has great honor for, but it doesn't come along with, the way that he dedicates himself to her is not necessarily reciprocated, right? And he had to learn that, and he did. He eventually went on and started, kind of living his own life separate from that, and we'll see how that plays out for him.
White Tower. Malkia. Maxim. Warder. White Tower. Kanda. Yvonne. Warder. White Tower. Borderlands. Queen Morghese Trakand. Queen of Andia.
Yeah. Okay, so this is another important character that, if you're going through the series, like, you need to kind of identify. Yeah, this is a character you really need to identify because, man, she's trouble, man. She's problematic. Like, this woman right here is massively problematic. I'm into the third season, and we're just really seeing it manifest, so I don't know how deep she goes at this point, but, man, she's definitely showing her true colors Very powerful. She walks into the White Tower, has no issue laying down the hammer, right? Just making like wide open threats. Just no issues with it.
Andoran Crown, Andia, Book Canon, Elaine Trakand, Heir to the Lion Throne, Andia, Andia, Lord Agelmar Jagad, Military Leader, Borderlands, Sheena, Book Canon, Aemon Volder, Lord Captain, Children of the Light, Amadisha, Geofram Bornhold, Military Commander, Children of the Light, Amadisha, Book Canon, High Lady Suroth, Seanchan Noble, Seanchan Empire, Seanchan, Book Canon, Renna, Suldam, Seanchan Empire, Seanchan, Avienda, Warrior and...
Alright, I'm going to take a break right now. I've done about 25 minutes, just really getting into the characters. I'm going to come back and kind of get deeper into some of the places, locations that are important in the series as well. So check me out anytime. You guys are going to be here later. Check out the channel if you want to subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. I'm going to log out of both streams, just stepping out of TikTok.